Alrighty. So we've been talking about different scenarios. Once you're already kind of grappling with grappling, right? We're talking about sitting down versus someone that's on their knees. So we're just gonna do just little quick recaps of what we've been covering for the past couple classes before we move on to the next positions. Okay. So we're gonna look at it from my point of view. All right. So how can I overcome this position, this situation? It's very common in grappling. Okay. Especially when you're going against someone that's a little bit more experienced than you. This is very common. Okay. And the reason why they do that is because they actually see you being on your knees. Okay. Well, it's not a bad thing, you being like this. It's certainly not a good starting point in my opinion. Okay. Now, mistakes that I may make, all right, is that I'm going to get my butt off of my heels and I'm going to reach for her head, trying to put her in a headlock, trying to reach for her shoulders, trying to push her back. Okay, that's a very common mistake. If one, I don't know what I'm doing, or two, I just don't have much experience, even though I've already started to train in jiu-jitsu. Okay, so it looks like, like this. I'm trying to push her back, trying to create a lot of space between myself and her. Okay, because a lot of people think the idea is right. The idea is to pin the other person to the ground, which is true. But they think it's going to be like this. Okay? You kind of walking them down. That's not the best option for obvious reasons, is that she can just go with it and she can catch me in her close guard, right? It's like this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm winning, but she's actually got me neutralized, right? And if I don't recover my base, I may still do something like this, trying to reach back and try to push her feet off. And then that's easily going to open me up for, the attacks, the high guards or the sweeps and whatnot. Okay, so that's a very common theme in the beginning. Okay, so the other one, like I said, is like bull rushing to the headlock position. Okay, it's like they go and they try to do this motion here. They try to do that headlock position as fast as they can. Right? And they try to push themselves. I'm not going to do this because I need to take my knee off the ground, okay? But they're going to try to, get off their knee, so without her, they're going to try to get up while in the headlock position, and they're trying to run around the knees. Trying to do this, okay? That's very common. All right? So, and that's dangerous for me because I'm still overreaching and exposing myself. Okay, even though I may have a decent squeeze on the head, all she has to do is shrug the shoulders, maybe check a little bit with her frame on my body before she goes to the underhook. Right there, and then when she goes to the underhook, it allows her to get behind. Okay, and I'm able to just kind of dive forward. All right, but that's the key. So from her point of view, the key is to frame before she goes to the underhook. Okay, to frame. All right, and the reason why she does that is so that she can create a little bit of wedge that she's gonna need to slip around. Mistake that she does is that she goes immediately for the underhook. That's gonna catch the head just enough for me that I'm squeezing really tight to really make a difference and maybe put her in a bad spot. She may still catch my back or make me fall down face first, but she's probably going to get a really bad deep burn on her ear or on the side of her head. Or she might tweak her neck a little bit from the pressure, okay? So frame and then go around. That's from her point of view. So I don't want to do those two things, okay? I don't want to do those two things at all, okay? The third mistake that experienced grapplers will make is that they will reach for my pant legs or for my ankles like so. Okay? You see that? My hips are still behind me. And they lean forward like this. Okay? You don't want to do that. The reason being, that's a front headlock for her. Okay? She can catch me in the guillotine position. She can catch me, you know, with her hand in the collar, go for loop chokes. So that's bad for me like this. She can immediately just go in for those guillotine. And because my hands are probably holding on to the pant legs or holding on to her ankles in some fashion, instead of immediately defending the choke, you will probably hold on to that grip a lot tighter. And then you're going to realize that, crap, I'm stuck in the choke. And then you're going to try to fight it off. And that's usually too late by then. Okay? Because you will be in a dilemma at that point is, do I let go of the grip of the legs and focus on the choke and give her the opportunity to wrap her legs around my waist with the headlock already in place? Or do I keep the grip on the legs and let her squeeze my throat, and maybe I can be maybe a little bit tough enough to outlast it, but prevent her from getting the proper squeeze for the finish. Okay? Those are both very bad options. Okay? But most people that are experienced will try to prevent the legs from going around your body into the guard. If this person develops a good choke, a good front headlock choke, it doesn't matter if her legs are around my waist or not. The squeeze is going to happen. Okay? The squeeze is going to happen. So don't try to make this mistake like this. Don't lead like this. See that? Okay, how you're supposed to react here. Okay, you always want to lead with your hand. Okay, lead with your hand. Check. That's the main thing. It's just like in boxing. You want to jab to find your range. You're going for the grips. Okay. So if my goal is to try to grab on with a right hand, I'm gonna first lead with the left, so that way I can go with the right. I don't want to reach with my dominant hand right away, because then they can, defend it. Right? She doesn't even have to bring her hand down. She can just, deflect it a little bit. Okay? As I'm trying to go, because I already showed my cards what I want to do. I'm reaching and holding on. I'm trying to do a cross collar grip. Okay? So you want to do the first one with your less dominant hand. You reach. If she redirects it for you, no big deal. It still opens up for your grip. Okay? Or you can get to the top grip and then redirect and open it so that you can get to the grip that you want. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's what you would want to do if you're going to be going for that, for the head or upper body control. Okay? If you're going to be reaching for the bottom, for the legs, same thing, right? Is you want to redirect, and then you're going to shoot in front, like reach for the hip and reach for the knee. Okay? In this scenario, I'm going to go to this side. I'm going to pass to the side that she's sitting on. All right? So that's going to make it easier for me if I go for the hip, I go for the knee, and I pass the knee between my legs, okay? And I knee walk around to her hip. However she is, most of the time people are here like this, okay? If I'm pretty good at it, I can go real quick, up, see how I catch the top grip. I'm already dominant, okay? A couple things that are gonna react from here too. So she's gonna go like that, because she doesn't want me to hold on to her hand, okay? So you can time it to go, okay? Or if she doesn't react, you pull it down and to the side and you go in. All right? So those are your two options from there in order for you to do it properly. Here, okay? Right there. See how my head stays below her shoulder? I don't want my head like this. If I do my head like this, there's so much space right here that she can quickly, frame, maybe butt scoot away a little bit, create a little distance, and now I'm reaching. You see that? And now I'm in danger of like the front headlocks again. Because momentum's still going to go forward. Okay? Or I'm in danger of getting caught in her guard. So I don't want those options again, right? So I want here, like this. Okay? Now I'm gonna bring my leg out. Okay? I'm gonna bring my leg out. I got an outrigger. My head is the ram. And I'm gonna be pushing forward as I push her knee, or as I tuck her knee forward, like this. Knee comes down, I knee walk. Okay? That's one option. Other option is here, I pass her knee if I'm fast enough, I pass her knee just a little bit, I knee walk to the side and I step. And then I can go ahead and reclaim my position. All right? So I'm now being the offensive. That's my goal, right? I'm trying to beat her to the spot. I'm trying to get to her hips before her hips either move too far away and causing me to do this, or her hips move inside so close to me that now I'm kind of like over her and she's underneath my base and I'm in danger of being tipped over. Okay? So I kind of want to be right here in front. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So as we proceed, again, I cannot stress this enough, is this hand has to be your first choice of the attack. It's just like a jab. You throw the jab to find your range, to find your depth, so that you can fire off with a cross, okay, or fire off with your straight, so that you can actually do the damage. So that's what this is. Okay? All right? That's what you want to do. Now you may say, well, what happens if their head is lower than yours, right? You go here and they tug like this. Well, that's simple, okay? I can go for the front headlocks, okay? So I go here and they duck. See how her head is lower than mine? Okay? This is going to be my choking arm. This is going to go behind and catch it. Okay? Now you may say, why would that be effective at that point as opposed to you attacking from here? Well, for one, when I get to the headlock right here, all my weight is going to push her head down right here to her knees. Down to her knee right here in front of her. So you're going to squeeze the body like this. All right? That's probably going to force her to come down to both knees in a turtle position. And you can, if you have a good squeeze, you can still squeeze as you pull guard to get him into that front headlock guillotine finish. Or you can use that to go to the back. So I go here and she ducks forward. Like this. She goes to the turtle position. It's like, I switch it over to get to the back. Okay? So that's another way you can pass the guard. It's just, being aware of that posture. It's different if I went from this position here and I went like this. You see that? She can easily just fall back and it'll catch me into her guard. Like this, and then I'm going to have to try to rebuild, and that's where I start to put myself in danger. Questions on that one?
None.
No?
Nope.
So now here's another one, okay? So let's say I go here, and I reach for the collar, and I start to kind of move a little bit forward, and she managed to butt scoot at the same time, and she gets her underhook right there. Oh no. Here's what I can do. I'm going to take my arm, go over the underhook, and I'm going to put my hand all the way down in front of her belly. Okay? I'm not going to keep it up here. I'm going to go in front of her belly. Okay? So that way I can prevent a lot of her trying to come forward or get it further underneath my balance, my center of gravity. If she tries to bust through forward, it makes it very hard, and it's very awkward for her right now. If she tries to pull back into guard, fall back, and then back in, not fall back. It makes it very hard, and I'm not following. Okay, I don't have the feeling to just fall forward because I've got my base secured. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like here. I go overhook, in front, right there. Okay, right there. Okay. Couple things that I can do. If she does fall, okay, let's say she falls to her left side, like that. Okay. Now, why would she fall that way? Well, that's because that's the way of her sweep. Okay. If she had managed to get to the underhook, and I try to find out what the traditional overhook grip, like right here by the armpit, okay? If I try to do that, and I have my hand here, all right, she's going to control my elbow, control my wrist, and tuck it in and fall to her side, coming up on top. Okay, so that's a very typical butterfly sweep. We will counter that by going with the overhook and going in front of her belly. Your goal is to eventually get your fist down on the ground. Okay? So it looks like this. So I'm here. All right? If she decides to go for it, it's like I shoot. Go ahead. I shoot, and my fist goes down to the ground. Okay? It puts a lot of pressure on that arm. Okay? Another thing that you're going to have to do is you will have to use an outrigger. So you're going to use the leg to the same side that she's going to fall on. So she goes, it's like this. I use that leg to stop further momentum from going there. All right? And this control right here, this hand in front of the belly, does all the work. I'm not even holding on to anything. I'm just pressing the back of my hand against her body and down to her thigh. That's it. Okay? So she continues. It's like, nope. See, now I've got good control. Okay? And then I can go ahead and still tuck. I can bring my leg back into play. I can tuck, knee in, and then pass over to that side control position. Okay? So that overhook is just the key, right? So, so this is what it looks like from the back. She managed to get that underhook. I go over and through. I don't stay up here like this, because if I stay up high with the overhook and I raise it up, and she managed to catch my wrist control, oh man, I'm already giving her the starting point to be tipped over that way. Okay, so I want to go in like this, so that way I can re-put that weight back to the center. Okay? Question on that?
Nope.
All right. So continue. All right, so she's sitting down. Back a little bit. Okay. Other things that you can do to still kind of manage your distance, if you realize that this person maybe is not as experienced as you think they are, or sometimes they are too experienced, too technical, and you're trying to make everything like dumb. Okay? Sometimes that's a good strategy to keep everything very simple and not be like a specific grip counter for a specific grip counter. Is you're using more of your weight distribution and your positioning along with your posture to kind of counter a lot of the specific grips. Okay? So that's what I mean here. She decides to come forward, she might try to get a grip or something like that. Okay? What I'm doing right now is I'm checking. I check the shin right here by her knee. Pop, like that. That's different than me doing this. Okay? I check. Ha. Maybe I open up my knee a little bit. Just like that. Okay? So now I have to force her again. If she wants to get in closer, she's got to butt scoot in more. Okay? And that becomes that little bit of a battle. I'm not worried about her choking me because my posture is higher than hers. Okay? Or equal to hers. Okay? The one thing that she can do from here for sure is she can do a collar drag, right? To where she takes this leg to the outside and she's going to fall on this forearm as she pulls me and falls to this other side. Like that. That would be the big no-no as far as that, okay? But it's okay because you can still, like, you stopped it, the more incoming right there, right? If you see or feel that that's going to happen, you square up. Even if she falls down, okay? You square up to the person and you're still checking kind of the shins a little bit. That throws off the whole angle, all right? It throws off the whole angle and her timing is now bad. Other things that you can do from there is you can counter that particular counter to hers with like a over and under pass, okay? Like, she's got the grip, you're here, you see that go, like, you time it, you go and pass, okay? Now that's, I would say this a little bit intermediate to a little bit more advanced, just for the fact that you will have to be in tune with the subtle shift and then the movement, the subtle shift of the grip, okay? And then the hip movement over to the side. And again, you can time it, you can kind of, you open up to the side that they go, you open up, because you know this leg is going to eventually be up and this one's going to be down. You underhook and you overhook and your head is going to go to the chest and then you're probably going to come up off your knees and pass now her right leg through in this scenario, okay? Let's turn it right quick just so we can see it right. I think that should be it. Hold on, it's blurry. Come on. Man, it's still blurry. I don't know.
Tell me. There you go.
That is so weird. Okay, I
Is it
guess.
blurred? No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Okay, now it's not. Cool. All right. So it's here. I see that leg goes over. My knee squares. I go over. I go under. My head goes in. So she's kind of pulling like this. I step. I pass. And I get to that side control position. All right. And it's usually going to be pretty quick. All right. I've tried this counter in live in tournaments going against another person. I've had good success with it, but I've also have not had good success with it. I've also been caught in the actual sweep trying to go for this counter. So it's just a matter of that timing. Okay. Again, the timing and you being aware that there's the subtlety of the change and their body shifting the other way when you square up to go. Okay. Okay. Questions on those?
None.
All right. So now, okay, now you're here like this. The other things that you can do. You can push. Okay. You're here like this. You start doing a little, messing with the hands. Maybe they start getting down. They start going to the tailbone instead of the hip. Okay. You're here. You can push them. Okay. Okay. But when you push them, you're not going to go to the ground and then come up and then try to push them to the ground like this. Okay, you see how my body gets extended? Okay, so it's like patty cake, that game, right? Because you start messing here and you feel that there's a little bit of resistance and push them. Okay, pop, pop, kind of motions. That will be your entry so that you can go ahead and pass. If you need to stand up and pass, you can do that at that point. Okay. So you could go like hands, shins and knees, ankles or feet. Okay. So if the feet are here, you can go underneath and push them up. So that way you can stand up, pass them over to the side and quickly pass. Okay. If their feet are pointing, then you can push down you know, into their butt, pop like this, and then throw them to one side and pass. Okay? Some people, and again, this is like you already trying to, you know, engage. She may be down on her hand. You come in here and she decides to come up to her tailbone. She's no longer on her side. Now she's on her tailbone. Here, pass, pass, or push, push. Okay? That's your entry right there. If the person decides to stay down there and they start to play and then they start to turn to one side a little bit, okay? So sometimes like they're like this. Yeah, like that one side. They're kind of redirecting. They try to redirect you to the side that they want you to pass on. All right? If you want to pass to this side behind her, you know, more than likely you're probably going to go like, oh, I'm going to get here like this. But this leg is your actual enemy. She can hook right there. And as I try to get to the side, that leg is going to suck for me, allow space for now both of her feet to get in, and she can start to, yeah, sweep me, come up, or if I'm too strong, I can power back up, and now she's got me again into like, you know, her butterfly position. Okay? So that leg is going to be your enemy if you decide to go that route. So it's like, here, pop, pop. Right? I got her engaged. It's like, I go here, bam. So she goes to one side like that. That's her response after this. Okay? Because maybe the first time I still managed to push her and get her legs to the opposite as I go around. Now she's there. Okay? So things that I can do from here. All right? I'm going to go ahead and like still check and check. Okay? I still want to check that leg on the bottom. That's going to be my goal. Here. Okay? And she's going to try to hold on to probably my sleeves or my wrists. She's going to try to engage me in some way, shape, or form. Okay? It doesn't really matter in there. If I manage to get right here like this, I've managed to engage. I can hold on to the pant legs, you know, to the cuff of the pant leg in here. And I can go ahead and just, and I can like roll them this way and pass the bottom leg. That's going to be my focus. Pass the bottom leg behind her butt as I go in front of her waist. So she's here. It's like this. And I go forward. Okay? You have to go forward with your body. More than likely, you're going to land with either your chest or your head, like on her belly, and then you knee walk forward so that you can catch up. Okay? When you do that, that's a lot of weight. That's very heavy pressure on the person because they are having to hold you up as you are driving down at this angle and you're trying to catch up to them. Okay? Other things you can do from here is, again, you have to see where their feet is at. Okay? If their feet in this position is on the outside of your knees, okay, you can kind of power over them with like a pummeling position, and more often than not, they're going to use this little entry to go to the turtle position. That's what I mean. Her feet on the outside of my knee, I engage, I pummel through. See that? I go over and under, like this, over and under here, and I might hold on to the collar as I'm starting to pass. She's probably going to start working her way like into the turtle position. Okay? If her feet are more in front of me, like this is going to be harder for me to just pummel. Because if I pummel here like this immediately, all she has to do is just bring this knee up. And more than likely, I'm going to be, you know, tipping over to the side if I'm not aware of it. Okay? Or if I am aware of it, I'm going to be a little bit off balance, just enough for her to recover to whatever guard or attack she wants to do. Okay? So her feet are inside. You need to expect them to turn or sit up. Okay? Because many times, as soon as you engage, this happens. They posture back up because they want you to engage with your butt coming off the heels, and they're going to come up here, going for the underhooks, so they can start getting for that butterfly position. And as you realize that, crap, I made that mistake, that's when they're already, tipping you over to the side. Okay? So me personally, this is where I would go into that first counter that we worked on earlier. Okay? If the feet are inside and you make the mistake here and they come up, pop at the same time, underhook. Okay? And they're trying to bust you in, try to get in, overhook, my hand goes in front. You see that? Right there. That's what I want to do. Right? So now this hand I have to fight that grip. If she tries to go for that grip, I have to fight it. I have to get on top. Okay? If she gets this when she tries to go, she's not going to. Okay? But if she gets this when she tries to go, it's not going to be pretty.
You're gonna break my arm.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Stress my arm out.
she's going to definitely strain the arm. Okay? But more importantly, she's probably going to do more mental damage to herself than anything else, because she's in the perfect spot, just the right angle for me to be swept over, but it's not going to work. Okay? And it's not going to work. And it's like too many times of that, it's going to have her second guessing herself in being in this position, even when I don't have that particular counter grip in there. Yep. Okay. So she says she's gonna have to get her arm out and repummel, and that's true. And usually, how they recounter this would be to get the arm out, shift to the other hip, and get the underhook, so they can build the momentum to sweep me to the opposite side. So it looks something like this here. Like I'm here, like this. She's gonna have to get her arm out, shift to the other hip, repummel, and get to the other side like this. Okay, so it's just creating a different wave, and you just taking advantage of that. All right. So the biggest thing, like in her position, her being on the bottom and trying to use her guards, is that she's trying to readjust her body to the angles of the attack, not try to pull me and push me and force me into the angles of the attacks. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I say that because 90% of the time, that's what we will do. Okay, we will try to force the person to move so that we can be successful with the attack, when you're supposed to move and just let the person fall. All right, so you have to be very aware of that weight distribution that you give, but also that you are receiving. Okay? And you can manipulate that. And you can figure it out which weight distribution control is the better one for you to use. Your own, or the one that you are using, so that you can readjust and let them fall through. Okay? Now some of this may sound like, all hokey pokey kind of stuff, like all these like the ancient alien stuff, right? That you would think like, yeah, that wouldn't really work. I'm telling you, it's what it is.
The only way it'll work.
Huh?
It's the only way it'll work.
Well, I mean, you can force it. Don't get me wrong. You can force it. Okay? Like I said, you can force the person into the position of the angle that you want them. But that's where me as the attacker, me forcing somebody, is going to get hurt. This is why knee injuries and neck injuries are so prevalent in jiu-jitsu with males.
And lower back.
Okay? Well, lower back for sure. But like the knee injuries and the neck injuries are so prevalent in males in jiu-jitsu because they are trying to force the person over, like for example, like a scissor sweep, they're using their knee and they're stiffening trying to go, when all they could do was they create the tension, is shift a little bit over, and the person just falls without you having to strain so much. Okay, And you might say, well, it's not a big deal. Okay, but if you do that over the course of many months, many years, your joints are going to give out. Okay, so that's why you got to be smart. That's why I say you have to be aware of that weight distribution, right? Is mine going to be the one that's going to be the ultimate tool in this little scuffle, or am I going to have to use hers against hers? Okay, it's blurry again. There you go. Okay, and that's hard, for a lot of people. Because
that's the hardest thing to learn. Right?
Yeah, it is the hardest thing to learn, the weight distribution, because you have to feel it. You truly have to feel it in order to begin to understand it.
And if you keep fighting it with your power, it just prolongs you feeling it.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you have to feel the other body. You have to have somebody do proper weight distribution to you as they're teaching it to you, so that you can understand, again, like I said, begin to understand the actual momentum, okay? Because right now we can talk about it all day long, and I can show you different scenarios, and I can, give you different analogies, but it's so hard for you to really understand that specific concept, okay? Unless you have somebody that you can try this at home with, and then it's just going to be the beginning of you trying to actually understand it faster, right? Because you need the second body to feel that weight distribution. But the downside to that is that the other person that you may have available to try it on, they're not going to like you very much, okay? Because in you trying to put proper weight distribution, you are going to fall on them too hard. You're going to pull on them too far or too hard, and you're going to jar them. So it's kind of like it is the hardest thing to kind of learn, like Melissa said, okay? Unless you have someone that's already experienced working with you, okay? But you can do it by yourself, don't get me wrong. You can't learn it by yourself. It just takes a very long time, okay? All right, so any questions on any of these so far?
I don't think so.
Okay. So again, it's all about you having to see where their feet are when you are on your knees. That's the main thing, okay? That's the main thing. Is their feet pointed directly between your knees, or is their feet to the side of your knees? Okay? That will determine what her objective is, and that'll also determine what kind of guard passing I'm going to do. Okay, how I'm going to put my sequences together. All right, so real quick, like with her foot on the side, that usually means that she's going to try to pull me into her guard. Okay, she's trying to already get her legs wider than my base, so that when I try to move to the side, there's going to be a barrier of some sorts. Okay, that I have to go get over, but that's enough for her to bust good in and pull, and get me in her guard of some sort. If her foot is inside, that probably means, that she's going to get underneath. Okay, that means that she's going to have to scoot inside or allow me to come forward. Okay, or even just go like this to come forward, so that she can, so that I can create the space that she needs to get underneath my base and tip me over to the sides. Okay. So those are the things that you have to be aware about. So you see the person here, you have to be mindful of your reactions. That's why me personally, I always like to keep one of their foot on the outside of my leading knee. Okay. So if my base is square, I'm going to have to change my base. Even though my upper body is still squared. You see how my knees have changed? Okay. You see that? that's what I'm going to have to do in order for me to go in the direction that I want to. I don't want to have their feet between my knees, even though I don't mind that. I would rather have them on the outside, because then now, I'm going to go everything on this side. I'm going to have to make her consistently just worry about me coming on this side. Okay? And if she wants me to go to the other side, she's going to have to get all the way over to this side in order for me to go to that side. Okay? But you may say, well, she can just switch. So she switches. There. That's fine, but I'm still at a better angle of attack. My body's more offset than her. Yeah, she doesn't have a good angle of attack right here. Okay? Because I'm still trying to get her foot on the outside of my knee. Okay? I don't want her feet between my knees. Okay? So I'm just constantly changing those angles. You will be surprised at how easy it is to throw somebody off when they're engaging you. All right? Most people in the beginning don't even pay attention to your base. They pay attention to here, your hands. Right? They're coming in and you're going like this. And I've already changed my angle. Okay? You're going here. I've already changed my angle, and then it continues to come forward. It's like, nope. And I'm already passing. Because I've already changed my base of the angle of the attack, and she's still thinking she's going to go directly in front of me. Okay? This is very crucial knowledge for someone that's smaller going against someone that's bigger, someone that is not as agile going against someone that is. Okay? You are formulating your angles of attack. Sometimes you may give up, this angle so they can attack you, but that's your strong defensive angle, right? That's your strong defensive side. You can defend here all day long, no matter what. Very confident of that. But if you let them go maybe to this side, this may turn out to be your worst defensive side. You kind of don't know what your left and your right are doing. Okay, so now you can start using your weakness and your strengths against them. Okay, so now you're really using strategy there. If you know that they're really good at attacking you, maybe you want to give up your strong defensive because you're pretty confident you can shake anybody off from this side so that you can try to improve your position. Right? You can pass, put them on their back, take their back, or go to mount and try to choke them out. You don't have to worry about them taking this side because you can just, defend it, no problem. Okay? So there's things like that you can use. If I'm smaller going against someone bigger, it might be that their guard is here, I off-center it, I can run faster than what they can move because they got too much girth down here, right? They're bigger. All right, it's like I'm here and she shifts her angle with the attack. It's like, she can quickly just, get off her knees and move. And I'm still like trying to catch her legs, trying to catch her guard, and she's already, one step forward, one step ahead of my legs. Okay? She's already one step ahead of what I'm trying to figure it out. All right? So little ideas that you guys can kind of think about and use. It's the same concepts really in any martial art, in any combat sport. It's just a strategy, right? It's like you don't want to be directly in front against someone that's much bigger and stronger than you. You're always trying to get them from the blind side. Okay? When you punch somebody, it's better for you to punch them from the side, pop, from here, because now you can really put more emphasis, right? They don't have their base directly in front of you to absorb the shock, because now you're going to catch them from the side. So it's going to be like tip them over, that kind of idea, instead of you trying to do that. Okay? That's the idea. Okay? Same thing with kicking. You always want to kick from the side, right? It's just much better. it's harder for the person sometimes to pick it up. Okay? We talked about last time, like from if you decide to use, the seated position to get inside, when you come in here like this middle part right here is the blind side of most people. Okay? It's like right here. This is most people's blind side. This is where your depth perception is mostly off. Come on. Sorry, it's blurry on our side. I'm trying to get it to. That should be good enough. Okay? It's hard for people. So one thing that in this position that you need to be careful of from this position is they're inside and they go for that grip. Okay? Same thing. Now she's ready and I go in, I go for that grip. Okay? She's got to keep her hands in the center, not trying to hug, not trying to be around. Okay? Because it's very hard a lot of times for her to be picking up these grips if she's not aware of that. Okay? Because sometimes, well, not sometimes, most of the time, when someone feels a tug, they will willingly reach forward. Okay? And that will open up a proper grip for you. All right? So you give it to me. Bottom. When they come in from the bottom like that, if they feel, you have to feed it into the grip. That would be the ideal portion. They feel the tug, they're going to do this. Okay? They can't help it. They're going to reach a lot of the times because they feel like they're being pulled forward, into their guard. That's usually the reaction of someone that's just like expecting it. They're in here, they're like, oh crap, we're going to engage now. Here we go. And then they feel, they're like, I try to get the one up on you, right? Only for me to actually give in the grips that she wants. Because I wasn't defending like I need to and staying in my center, defending my center. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so then let's talk about that real quick. Defending your center with your hands, all right? You're here like this. No. Heck no. Okay? Here. That's what you want. All right? This is what you want right here. The backhand is usually going to be defending anything that this hand cannot get defended. Right? I can parry, but I can still defend the collars. A lot of times with that backhand.
Or your neck.
Or my neck. Okay? But right here. You see that? See how I always have one hand, or both hands are right in my center. Okay? That's what I'm looking for. Not so much like this. This is very common in a lot of people. Here. All right? I want this. Just like that. Okay, you can alternate whichever you want. You don't want this, obviously. Some people will actually defend like this, believe it or not.
Like this.
Yeah, they'll be like this here. Okay? It's stupid. Don't do that.
I've never seen that. Never seen that.
Well, they do. Trust me. Okay? This is going to get you in trouble more than this. Okay? Because you're condensing all of your base.
All of your weapons.
All of your weapons. Yeah, you're condensing everything in here in your center. And once you get tipped over, there's no real control. At least this, you can kind of become like a parachute. You're like, oh, and you can kind of give them a little bit harder time. Okay? But yeah, don't do this. Okay?
So you can get your hands trapped like that.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people get the hand strap. Okay? So you want one hand forward, one hand back. Okay?
Like double knife hand high.
Just like so. That would be ideal. All right? You don't have to have it directly. You don't have to have like a direct line. You just got to have your center protected. Okay? Now, you don't have to do this. Just that. And the reason being, believe it or not, the reason being why this is really effective is because I can actually direct their grip. Okay? I will make the hole that small. Okay? And if the person that I'm facing is not very well trained on gripping and gripping concepts, they will fall for that every single time. They will literally just grip between my hands in that little hole that I created. Okay? And that is so easy for me to defend because they will either grip, like she did, below my palms, which, see all that slack? I can work with that. I can keep them holding on down there, and I can still pass their guard. I can bypass everything because they have such a weak grip. There's so much slack. Okay? If they decide to go a little bit higher between my palms, I can easily defend the grip before it gets locked in. Okay? Or if they feel like, that's such a small grip going straight forward, I'm going to have to go around the hands. See, I cannot block. Okay? Right? I can block. I can block, and this kind of starts to allow you to do like your arm drag positions, right? Like if you time it just right, pop. Okay? You can already go behind it. Okay? A lot of times too, they go ahead, they go around, you go here, and when they retreat, it's like you're already taking the initiative to pass directly in front of them, down the middle. Okay? And then you can start doing like your X passes. Okay? Tucking their knee to one side, both knees to one side as you go around to the opposite side. Okay? And all because they went around the grip, and when they coming back, you're taking over their center. Okay? They fail to protect their own center by getting greedy and trying to go too much over to the side. Just like this. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that's one way that you can use just your hands to kind of keep yourself, safe a little bit in here. Make the person maybe second guess their first intentions, or make their actual intentions very weak. Okay. Once they engage, maybe they don't get the right grip, and now they become very weak at it, but because maybe they get a little bit too anxious, or they're anticipating your response, they won't improve on that weak grip or the weak initial attack. They will not improve upon that, and they will try to use that to make everything else work. Okay? And you can definitely take advantage of that person. Sometimes, you even be here like this, and they start coming in, and it's like, right. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, that like you're so in control of your center and your base that you never let them get really close to you, and so now you kind of keep them right here at all times. And as you saw, they start to go to one side or the other side, and they just don't feel quite comfortable yet, or they try to pull guard, or they try to stand back up. So you've deterred their initial attacks. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not like over anticipating what she's trying to over anticipate. Someone has to be in control. This is why a lot of times in the beginners, you see them do this a lot. Sorry. Okay? I'm over anticipating, I'm overreacting to her initial attacks, even from any position, but specifically from this one, that it's gonna catch me in trouble. Make sense? That sometimes, like even, I don't know if you heard it, because I kind of pushed too hard, and she's like, whoa. Like, sometimes you do that because you're over anticipating that you will overextend yourself too much, and you will open yourself up. Okay, whether it's your balance gets, offsided or overwhelmed, or you just overcommitted and she's able to hold on to your arm, your hand, that when you try to pull it back, you're actually helping her, redirect her attack to you. All right. So you have to stay here. You should not extend your elbow. You see that? More or past your knees. Once you extend your elbows past your knees or equal to your kneecap, you've already exposed yourself too much. Your elbow should not get past the midway of your thigh. Okay? Right in here. That should not happen. So it would be just something like this here. You can parry, block, move, catch different angles. Okay? And like I will do this here because they're coming from the bottom trying to hold on to my grip. So it looks like that. Okay? I may do that just to kind of get a reaction, and then she's gonna go somewhere else. To just stay in here in the center. Okay, always just checking it. Okay, so that'll help your cause a lot. So if you're going against someone that is more agile or more stronger than you, you being very aware of where the grips are coming from and you redirecting, not letting your center line be compromised too much, it's going to
Be frustrating.
very frustrating. Yeah, it's gonna be giving you that kind of equal opportunity. Okay.
That's what guys will always say. Like, Tyler will be like, "Let me grab you."
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some of the guys at the gym, that's what they complain about. Is like, I would attack you, but you don't let me get a hold of you. And like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but that's obviously, hours and time you working those awareness here, and you just being true to your stance and not being over committed and over anticipating, which probably is the worst thing that you can do. Okay, so little tactics. Look how their feet are coming towards you. You can redirect them just by redirecting your stance. Okay, you can parry, block, redirect their grips, make them go weaker so they can still hold on to something, but it's not going to do them any good, so that you can continue on to what you want to do.
Because most people will accept. They just kind of accept that someone's in butterfly guard.
Yeah.
And just defend it when you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept it.
It's like the you've seen flies or mosquitoes with the lantern, right? With the electric thing that kills them. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
That's what most people look like. Like when they go against like a butterfly guard, is they're just kind of like mesmerized. They're like, Now you could be from the sidelines, don't go in, and like I can't help it, and they just go right into it. Okay, it's like they get traumatized by it. But if you kind of do some of these things, it's already going to give you a huge boost in your ability to counter and stifle many of their attacks. Okay, this is how like the people that describe their jiu-jitsu as sloths, right? They're very slow and methodical and controlled. This is how they approach it many, many times. Okay, is they understand what's happening. They redirect their angles of attack so that they can offset the other person's attacks. And they're just kind of slowly but surely improving on their position without over-exaggerating themselves.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Any of those?
Nope.
No.
Nope. All right. Then we will call it a night, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.